Before you buy a new camera or before you upgrade the one you already own, pause. Because the real decision is not which camera is better, the real decision is which camera actually fits the way you shoot. Today, we are talking about the Canon C50 and the R5 C. Some of you already own one of these, and some of you are deciding which one to buy, or are you deciding to upgrade from your R5 C? So this is not a spec sheet comparison. This is a real-world decision guide based on actual testing, real workflow, and the difference that genuinely matter. So by the end of this video, you will know which one makes sense for you, and just as importantly, which one doesn't. Quick note: if your goal is to master a camera and shoot with confidence without buying gear you don't need, consider subscribing. That's exactly what this channel is about. And we're working toward 10,000 creators learning to make smarter decisions. How I am judging these cameras? I am not judging marketing. I am judging real differences that affect result and workflow. Sensor and recording philosophy, autofocus behavior in difficult conditions, dynamic range and log profiles, low light usability, workflow and decision fatigue, hybrid versus cinema phase design. For each one, I will explain what is the difference, why it matters, and who should care. Autofocus, this is not close. Let's talk about autofocus. And this is where I need to be very clear. Based on my testing, this is not a close result. I created a harsh autofocus condition using the same lens, the RF 35mm f1.8, with the same AF setting on both cameras, and even ambient light. With no direct key light on my face, the C50 immediately finds my face and eyes. You can clearly see the face and eyes AF frame tracking me. The R5 C struggled. Its AF frame stays stuck in the center of the frame and did not actively find my eyes. Near darkness test. I pushed this further into near complete darkness using only a tiny LED light in my hand. Again, the C50 still found my eyes. The R5 C did not. Its AF frame stayed fixed in the middle, not hunting though, but also not identifying my face or eyes. I moved closer, still no eye detections. Only when I brought the LED light very close to my face did the R5 C finally lock into my eyes, appearing and disappearing from the frame, turning away, walking back into the scene. Once again, the C50 constantly beat the R5 C at finding my face and eyes. The R5 C AF frame often remains static in the center of the frame. Backlighting and glare. With backlighting added, the C50 remained more confident. I also noticed something important here. Glare from the glasses significantly affected the R5 C. As soon as I removed my glasses, the R5 C became noticeably more confident in eye autofocus. When I added a proper front-facing key light, both cameras performed perfectly, even in continuous AF. So here is the honest conclusion. In control lighting, both autofocus systems are excellent. But in difficult real-world conditions, the C50 has a superior autofocus system. There is no subtle, and for many people, this alone can be a deciding factor. Dynamic range, log make the difference. There is another clear separator. The C50 gives you Canon Log 2 and Canon Log 3. The R5 C gives you Canon Log 3 only. I tested both cameras in the same lighting and with the same setting, recording at the same time. Low light scenes. Even before grading, you can see more shadow detail in the C50 footage. The C50 image also appears significantly sharper. Look at the separation here. In the C50 footage, I am clearly separated from the background with usable shadow detail. In the R5C clip, I started to blend into the background as shadow detail is lost. This is where the C Log 2 and the higher dynamic range of the C50 really show the advantage. Daylight scenes. In daylight, you can clearly see the difference in highlight retention and shadow details. The scope tells the same story in daylight. In the R5C, the window highlights are already clipped. The sky is blown out. In the C50, we still retain highlight details and the blue in the sky is still visible. That extra highlight latitude makes a real difference in high contrast scenes. Yes, there is technically an unfair comparison because the Canon Log 2 offers over 15 plus of dynamic range compared to around 14 stops in C Log 3. But that extra stop matters. Grading stress test. When I push both clips the same amount in grading, the R5C footage broke first. That is not a surprise. It's simply the limitation of the log format it offers. For me personally, this extra dynamic range is significant. Starting from more information gives you more creative freedom later. And for my work, this pushes the decision clearly toward the C50. Low light performance. Low light reinforces the same pattern. The C50 retains more shadow detail that can be recovered in grading. At ISO 800, you can clearly distinguish the code in the C50 footage while the R5C breaks down sooner. Both cameras are professionally usable. For some filmmakers, that extra grading latitude is a deal breaker. Interestingly, the R5C looks a little softer, which can actually be an advantage for a more cinematic look. So here is the honest takeaway. Low light alone should not be the deciding factor. The real decision is still skill, not sensor choice. 8K versus 7K open gate. This matter. Let's start with one of the biggest differences. The R5C gives you 8K. The C50 gives you 7K open gate. And this is important. 8K is about resolutions. Open gate is about flexibility. With 8K, you get maximum details and room to crop inside a fixed frame. With open gate though, you use the entire sensor, which means one shoot, multiple output, 16:9, vertical and cinematic crops. If your workflow involves multiple platforms reframing, or future-proof delivery, OpenGate can be the more useful than pure resolutions. This isn't about image quality. The real decision is about how you deliver your work. Workflow and decision fatigue. This is where these cameras feel very different over time. The C50 is cinema first. It sets up faster, it rigs easier, it demands fewer decisions. You spend more time thinking about the shot, not the camera. The R5 C gives you more control, but also more choices. If you're still building confidence, simplicity helps you perform better. The real decision is how much complexity you want to manage. The hybrid deal breaker. This part is important. If you're a true hybrid shooter, the R5C gives you two major advantages: an electronic viewfinder and 45 megapixel still. For some people, this alone can decide the camera. And yes, the C50 comes with a top handle and a professional audio input and output. But the R5C can be paired with the Tascam CAXL R2DC, which largely equalize the audio advantage of the C50. But both cameras have a strength, both have compromises too. But it is also important to acknowledge this. The R5C was released almost 4 years ago, and technology has moved on. And you can clearly see that in areas like autofocus and dynamic range, where the newer C50 pulls slightly ahead. Final decision. Choose the C50 if you are a video first, you value OpenGate flexibility, you want Canon C Log 2 latitude, you prioritize workflow and reliability, you want the strongest autofocus in a difficult condition. Choose the R5C if you are a true hybrid shooter. You need 8K resolution, you rely on still and EVF, you are comfortable with complexity. And this is the most important truth. If you don't know why you need the more complex camera, you probably don't need it. Confidence doesn't come from owning the most expensive camera. The real decision is knowing why you're using what you have. If this video helped you decide, please subscribe and help us reach 10,000 creators learning to shoot with confidence without expensive gears. As always, may God bless and protect you, my friend. Hakuna Matata, and I will see you in my next video, God willing. Bye for now.